What's up everyone, it's Anthony from AB Fitness Center. Today I'm going to be covering what to focus on when it comes to losing weight. I'm going to actually be discussing 4 things you shouldn't focus on and the 3 things you should be focusing on in order to achieve your goals. So, you ready to dive in? Make sure you watch this all the way through to realize what you should be focusing on and not focusing on. So this video today and this lesson today it's brought to you by some of the conversations I've been having recently with some of our clients. And some of them have been struggling with, weight loss, and as always, this is not an easy thing, right? So having a good support system will help you get to that next level, which is what we really focus on. So that's what kind of stems this video today. So hopefully I can help you focus on the right things and not the wrong things, because sometimes we get caught up in nonsense and it pushes us away from our goals, when we need to really be focusing on other things that we need to be executing. So we're going to focus on the 4 things not to be focusing on. So 1, your weight. So the scale. Everybody lives and dies by the scale, and they judge themselves by the scale. They get on the scale at all different times of day, before eating, after eating, drinking water, getting on the scale. And it's just something, it's a human trait. My daughter actually does this. She got on the scale the other day, she drank a little bit of water, got on the scale and said, "Daddy, I'm heavier now." I said, "Yes, Gabriella, because you drank water. That's not real weight." But it's like everybody is just fixated with the number on the scale. Remember, the scale is a tool. It doesn't define the actual thing that happens. And what you see on the scale today is not always a reflection of what happened yesterday. It's more about like what happened last week and the week before that. The scale is kind of backdated, so to say. But by focusing on the scale, you're going to get really demotivated with all of this. And you're not going to want to continue down this path because you're never going to see progress based on the scale. So, and I've covered this in other videos too, the weight fluctuation video that I did. But if you have a couple more vegetables today than you did yesterday, you're going to be heavier tomorrow on the scale. Does that mean that you actually gained weight? No, that's not actual weight. So you need to remember that. So don't focus on the scale. Forget the scale. Throw the scale out. Don't focus on it. The scale is a tool. It's not the definitive answer to what you're looking for. Second thing that you shouldn't be focusing on is calories. I know, you're like, what? You always talk about calories, Anthony. What are you talking about? Well, calories are not the most accurate way to track everything. So food labels have a 10% margin of error, meaning that they could change those calories 10%. So by tracking protein, carbs, and fats, you're more accurately tracking your numbers for the day, and that's a way more accurate way to hit those calories. Whereas when you're just looking at the calories. So if you're just focusing on calories, there's always going to be a little margin of error in there. So if you're looking at just that number, and while that number is better than nothing, right, it's not as accurate as if you track your protein, your carbs, and your fat. So you need to remember that. Don't get caught up with just focusing on the calories. Focus on those 3 things, and it's a way more accurate way to look at it. The next one, performance in the gym. Okay? And I'm not saying not to focus on that. Well, yeah, don't focus on that. But don't tie in, okay, what you do in the gym to what you weigh on the scale. So for example, one of our clients, I'm not going to say her name, but she worked out a little bit harder one day and was lighter the next day and associated, hey, I worked harder in the gym, so that's why my weight went down. It doesn't work like that. Same thing with the scale. Your body, the workout that you're doing today, you don't see the result of that tomorrow. You see that result of it later on down the road. So it's not an equal thing, okay? And most people do this with cardio, okay? I burned 500 calories today, so that means I could eat 500 calories more. So whatever you do in the gym is what you do in the gym. That doesn't equate to the scale right away. So don't associate one with the other. You just need to execute on working out. That's just what it has to do. You have to just execute on that, but don't tie it into each other, because that's when you could run into big trouble. And the 4th one, and this is the one that I think is really big not to focus on. Don't look for motivation. What? What are you talking about, Anthony? What are you talking about? Don't look for motivation, okay? Like I said, motivation is not the thing that you're looking for. Motivation is almost like a gas tank. So I could watch a video, let's just say for me personally, I always aspire to look like Arnold and getting that. That's just what I want to look like. So if I watch a video of Arnold, I'm going to be really, really motivated in that moment because my gas tank has been filled, right? But what happens when life gets in the way? I start getting stressed out with stuff with work, stuff at the house, the kids, jobs, things like that. My motivation goes down. So by looking for motivation to fill, you're always going to be looking to kind of refill that tank. So that's not what you should be looking for. Don't look to get motivated by things. And I'm going to tell you what to focus on later, but don't look for motivation because motivation is bull. It's not going to help you. Don't look for it. And to be honest, if you need to look at somebody to get to fill up that tank, you're going to play that out, so to say. Like I could watch a video of Arnold and not be motivated anymore because I've done that so many times to try to refill my tank. So motivation, complete bull. Don't focus on it. Now, are you guys ready? Because these are the three, I almost said four. These are the three things that you need to focus on in order to get success. But before we get into the three, if you're interested in sitting down with me to discuss a plan to help you get to that next level, just click the link in the description below and it'll direct you right to me and we'll set up a call and we'll talk. So, the three things that you need to focus on. Number one, and I kind of said this earlier, you need to focus on macros, hitting the protein, the carbs, and the fats. That is way more accurate than focusing on the calories. So you need to focus, if you're going to get obsessed with anything, it's get obsessed with tracking those macros, the protein, the carbs, and the fat. Get obsessed with that. Live and die by that because that's how we can really go back and say, okay, I didn't make any progress, but it was because I wasn't tracking my macros 100%. Okay, I need to make a change, so I need to adjust my macros accordingly, right? If you're not tracking them and you're not diligent with hitting them, you're never going to be able to kind of know. So you need to focus on tracking those macros. That's number one. Number two, you need to focus on your clothes. That's what you need to focus on. Throw the scale out. You need to focus on how you feel and how you look in your clothes. So if pants start fitting you bigger, that's a good sign. That means you're losing body fat. So for me personally, I use my belt. My belt is always my good indicator. So when I'm trying to lose body fat, if I could pull my belt buckle in a little bit tighter, then I know, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm losing body fat. I'm losing inches because I could get my belt buckle a little tighter. So you have to use clothing for that. So pick a pair of pants that you love. If they feel you snug, then you know that the diet is not been as good. So you need to rein it in. You need to follow those macros, and you need to be able to slip those pants on and off very, very easily. So focus on your clothes, not on the scale. Okay, that's a way more better way to accurately measure things than just the scale. Because like I said, people get caught up with the scale, and what you see today on the scale is not always a result of what you did, yesterday or the past week. And the third one, and this is what I was saying earlier, consistency. You need to focus on being consistent. That is the key, being consistent. So like I said earlier, motivation is bull, right? Because again, you need to keep filling that tank for motivation to keep coming on and on. But when you make a habit out of things, you make it consistent. So when it comes to your fitness, if you make it a habit of going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, that becomes a habit. Not on finding motivation to do that because it's never going to work. So I'll equate this with something going on with me. So I set a challenge to record 90 videos over 90 days. And I don't have the motivation to do it. I run out of ideas all the time. It's very hard to make these videos. It's very hard to come up with topics and do them every day. It's very time consuming, but I set a challenge to myself. So I have to execute on that every day. So I execute on building that habit every single day. And that's when you reap the rewards. So it's the same thing with your fitness. If you hit the habit of tracking your macros, then that's going to be a better habit and you're executing on that. Now you're not looking for motivation because it's become like clockwork. Same thing with your workouts. If you're working out 2 or 3 times a week, you get to the gym, those are your days. Okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my day to go to the gym, and that's it. I don't care if I'm motivated, I'm just gonna go. But it becomes habit, and then those habits compound on each other, and that's how you actually get results. And before you turn around, you've achieved all this success, and all you were doing was just executing on those habits. So my main takeaway for you here is not just to watch my videos, but to go and take action. So I want you to begin to build habits to help you get to that next level. Start tracking your macros, start paying attention to how your clothes are fitting, and that's how you know you're gonna be moving in the right direction. And again, if you need any help with that, just click that link in the description below, and I'll be happy to help you. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.